Welcome to the Kingdom Hairstylist podcast. This is your host, Billie Jean. Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Kingdom Hairstylist podcast. I'm your host. My name is Billie Jean, and I want to welcome all of the new listeners that are tuning in this week. Thank you all for choosing this podcast to listen to, and welcome back to all of the old listeners. A couple of announcements before I get right into today's episode. The first thing is, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. And also, if you have some time, you can drop a rating just to let people know how the episodes or podcast is affecting your life and how much you like it. Also, you can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at Kingdom Hairstylist. So today's episode is all about the new tax season that's approaching us. I have the honor and the pleasure of doing my first interview with my sister, who is an accountant. And she's coming by just to drop some information for us that's going to be very, very helpful. So if you have a pen and a paper, you might want to take some notes because all of this information will be so helpful. So, April, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello, everyone. My name is April Moore. I am Billie's sister, as she just stated. I am also a child of the Most High God. I am the owner of Accounting Plus Tax Services. I operate a full-service accounting firm where I provide services for individuals as well as businesses, taxes, as well as accounting, bookkeeping, financial statements, you name it. I have two beautiful children, a 19-year-old daughter, and I also have a 12-year-old son who keeps me really busy. And I just want to thank Billie for allowing me this opportunity to be a part of her podcast to give her listeners some knowledge and education and information on taxes, the ins and outs, the do's and don'ts. So thank you all for your time as well, and I look forward to spitting some information.
All right, you're welcome. It's no problem. It's my pleasure. Tell us how you got started in your career.
Sure. So I actually started right out of high school working at a CPA firm, learning the basics, and basically I took a liking to accounting. I took a high school course in accounting, which is not offered anymore. However, back when I was in school, I took that course, started working at the CPA firm, and then I never left the field. It's become my passion. I am very passionate about my clients. I'm very passionate about learning. I love what I do. So I started out in the public sector, and then I eventually moved into the private sector. Over the course of 20 years, I've been working in different industries. I worked at a nursing home as a payroll coordinator, and then I grew into the nonprofit space, which is what I've been doing the last 10 years of my career, where I've done everything from accounting specialist to a staff accountant to a senior accountant. I basically decided I wanted to do a little bit more and become hands-on and try to find a way that I can serve God in the capacity of accounting or taxes. And so with that being said, I, in the process, decided to go back to school. I got my bachelor's in business administration, and then I said, you know what, this is how I learned the ropes of business, but what about accounting? So then I said, well, you know what, I'm going to go back to school. And I decided I would go back to school and get my master's. And so I have a master's in accounting and financial management. And my next step in my career is to become a CPA.
Yes, I'm so excited about that. Just to hear you mention all of your background, and I was there with you when you was going through all that hard schooling, so I understand exactly what you went through to get to where you are right now. And it's just a blessing that
Absolutely.
You finished and you were able to get your degree, and how much experience you have is just so amazing to me.
Thank you.
Yes. So, can you tell us a little bit about how God has impacted your life and also impacted your career?
Absolutely. So God is a major impact in my life in many ways. He believed in me even when I didn't believe in myself. And I feel like God has impacted me and pushed me to go above what I thought I could not do. Despite the odds against me, a situation that I put myself in back in 2004, I since made a big, humongous change, but I have to give God the glory, because I know that if it was not for God, that I would not be where I am. So he has made a major difference and impacted my life, and now he's using me to impact others, which is a blessing, and I give God all the glory for that. And I do recognize that God is my source, and he provides all my resources. So he's impacted me as a person. He's growing me up spiritually, and he's also impacted me in business. He's growing my business, and it's just amazing the things that God would do if you allow him to do it.
Yes, I totally agree with that. I have to agree with that because I'm in business as well, and I know that God has impacted my business, and I've seen him impact your business. Yes. I've seen how much it's growing. I see how much knowledge you have to share with everybody. That's why I was so excited about doing this episode, because I know that God is in the midst of this, and whenever he's present, it's you never know what can happen. Anything is possible with God.
I agree. And so on that same note, how he impacted me as well, in 2017, I was sitting at my desk because I was still working at this point. However, I had started mapping out the business. I had the business name. I knew that I wanted to work for myself so that I can work with other individuals to be able to serve. And so I was sitting at my desk, and it was really quiet, and I was just sitting there. And all of a sudden, I heard God say, "You're going to leave your job." And I just was stuck. And then I heard him say, "Do it now." And when I heard "do it now," I was hesitant. But I sat and I listened again, and I heard it clearly, the same umping or the same feeling that you get.
Yes.
Do it now. It became louder. And mind you, I had my notice typed up, but I did not know when I was going to turn it in.
Yep.
And so when God told me, "Do it now," I got up from my desk, and I was like, okay, I have to do it now because obedience is better than anything.
Yep.
I got up and I went to take the letter to my supervisor. However, the door closed as soon as I got up to take her the letter. Her supervisor was going in the office to talk to her.
Wow.
So because God said do it now, I did not want to leave the job without doing it.
Yes.
So what I did was I sat back down at my desk and I opened up my email, and I sent the letter in the email to my supervisor. And I was like, you know what? I'll deal with whatever tomorrow.
Yes.
And so I did that. I felt so much peace behind giving them this 30-day notice. And my life has never been the same. God has sustained me. I mean, he has sent me clients. He has done the things that I don't even understand till this day. So when I say God has impacted me, God has been a blessing. He is amazing. And again, I give God all the glory for my story.
I got chills when I heard you say that, because it's so important, and a lot of us don't realize how important it is to be obedient right away.
Amen.
We're always scared of what's happening next, but when God tells you to do something, you better do it right away, because he's going to sustain you, even though it might not always feel easy or feel good, or you might feel unsure of what's getting ready to happen next. But just know that when God tells you to do it, then he's going to handle everything else. And I've been here, like I said, on your journey to see how you were scared, but you did it.
Yes.
You thought about the obedience and what it could do for your life just by listening to God and doing exactly what he told you to do. And I'm just so grateful that you did that, because now other people that are listening can understand that when you hear a word from God, it's important that you act on it right away. Delayed obedience is not good, because that's sinning. Basically, God is telling you to do it because he got you.
Yes.
And you just have to trust him at every moment, every step of the way. You gotta trust them. So that was really, really good. I really appreciate you sharing that with the listeners.
Thank you.
I'm pretty sure that helped somebody, because I know I got chills when I heard it. I don't know about the listeners, but that let me know that God is in the midst right now, and he's pleased with what you did.
Absolutely.
So the next thing that I wanted to talk about is tell us some of the things that we need to do to prepare for the tax season. I know that some of my listeners are hairstylists, some of them are commission stylists, booth renters. We have all kinds of listeners. Some of the listeners don't do hair. They're just regular people, with 9 to 5. Some of them work for the government. Some of them are self-employed. So any tips that you could share with us right now at the end of January that could, help us prepare? I know it's short notice, but anything that can help us be prepared for the tax season to come.
Yes. So preparation is everything. The first tip that I would share for anyone that is listening, whether you're a hairstylist or whether you just work a job or even if you're a business owner, the first thing is to make sure that you wait until you have every document that you're supposed to get. And so I'll elaborate a little bit. If you work a job, wait until you have all your W-2s. So if you work more than one job, you're going to have more than one W-2. If you were an employee of a company, you should be receiving a W-2. Not only is the W-2 important, all documents. So that means if you are receiving interest from a bank, that's a tax document that you would want to wait on because that has to be reported. If you are a contractor, an independent contractor normally receives a 1099 miscellaneous. You want to wait on that form because you want to report that income. Most people should receive their forms by January 31st. That's the cutoff for W-2s and 1099 miscellaneous. So you may not get your documents until maybe the first week of February, but when you get those documents, then you'll be prepared to meet with your tax professional, your tax preparer to prepare your taxes. So that's the most important tip that I want to give to everyone that's listening. For stylists or barbers that are in the field of entrepreneurship, that are working for themselves, you want to make sure that you have all your income in order. You want to make sure that you have all your expenses accounted for. You don't want to rush to prepare your taxes just to have them done if you don't have everything in order. And so for an example, if you have income that you receive from your clients and it's through maybe, let's say, Square or Cash App or PayPal, you want to make sure that you have the history from those sites so that you can account for all the income. If you take cash, and this is something that I'm against, however, sometimes it cannot be avoided. If you are receiving cash, you should be using a receipt book to give your client a copy of the receipt, which also acts as your income receipt, showing that you received this cash and you have record for it. Sometimes it's hard to get around dealing with cash, which is why I suggest most people use some type of credit card system or some type of machine that you'll have a record. The IRS really don't care if you don't report your expenses, but what you better report is your income. They don't like the fact that some people try to hide income. So you will want to report all income and then help yourself by reporting all your expenses. You don't want to leave expenses that you pay for throughout the year off of your tax return, because that helps you. And so in order for you to account for all your expenses, you have to know what you're spending your money on. If it's business related and it's an expense, then you can write it off. So you want to make sure that you have receipts and that you have good record keeping. That is most important for the small business owners or the entrepreneurs or the independent contractors that are listening in, that you want to make sure that you have these things in place so that you can file correctly. So that's a major tip, Billy, that I would leave for every listener.
Yes.
That's listening in.
Yes, I really appreciate that. That's so important, and I hope that you all are taking notes. Just make sure that you're prepared, and like she said, there's no need to rush. I know a lot of times for myself, I'm a hairstylist, and I used to want to rush because I just want the money. So all I'm thinking about is, let me make sure I got this, and that, but it might have not been all of the things that I needed. And then when I have a sister that's an accountant, but you all might not. So that's why I wanted her to come on today so that you all can have someone that you can call, or you can go to when you need to have your taxes prepared the right way, because she's not going to just do it and get you a whole lot of money back